Yeah, about time I finished the series for once. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King's Quest VI, Heir Today, Gone Tomorrow. This is the follow-up to King's Quest V, obviously. And basically, they took most of their mistakes from King's Quest V, which is kind of a mess, and improved upon it, and ultimately made a much, much better game. I was originally going to do this after Blood Episode 5, was it? Or I think it was 4, yeah. But, I kind of wanted to get rid of the Blood playthrough because it had been going on too long, and then I just postponed this one for a while. And now I'm finally doing it. So, yeah. Also, once again, this game features voice acting, and it is also much better than in King's Quest V, so let's begin.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cosima, are you?
Hmm? I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here.
Cosima! Wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Cosima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise. Land ho! Land ho! Land ho!
Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach. For a moment, he is too dazed to remember how he got here. Then, he does remember. The shipwreck, the sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace. He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
Apologies for, like, all the flickering during that cutscene. I don't know why it did that. And I even had one problem where the game just kind of went back to the title screen after, it just randomly went back to title screen after a while. And I did nothing about that, and yeah, kind of annoying, but yeah.
The remains of Alexander's sailing ship lie dashed upon the distant shore.
And somehow, apparently, the crew survived this, except, I don't know why. But they should be dead. I don't know.
The ocean appears calm, but there's a dimpling pattern to the surface which indicates an undertow.
And here the game actually tells you, oh, you should be careful, or else you'll die. Which is, nice, because in King's Quest V, it would be like, oh, the ocean is fine, and then you just die immediately. Anyways, there's 2 items on the beach that we need to get currently.
Alexander's royal insignia ring lies abandoned on the sand. Alexander's royal insignia ring lies abandoned on the sand. It must have slipped from his finger during the shipwreck. Fortunately, it was not lost in the sea.
Wow, that's quite important. Let's get it.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach.
And?
A long plank lies on the beach. No doubt it once belonged to Alexander's ship.
And we will actually move it.
Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand. The box must have opened in the sea, spilling its treasure. Everything has been washed away, except for 1 coin of Daventry.
Man, how lucky.
Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
That's all that's here. We can take a look at
Alexander's ring
this.
is made of the purest gold and has the insignia of the royal family of Daventry on its face. Alexander is carrying a copper coin of Daventry. King Graham graces the front of the coin. Alexander is already wearing his ring. Alexander rubs his fingers over the indentation of King Graham's face on the copper coin and thinks fondly of home.
Alright, so we're obviously on an island.
Alexander is standing on a beach littered with debris from his shipwreck. A path leads north into the lush green island. An occasional breeze rustles the nearby foliage.
I also gotta say, I really like the narrator in this game. So, we obviously have to go forward. And, ooh, a castle.
In the distance, a majestic castle shines in the sun.
This obviously must be Cosima's castle, I suppose.
A grand old tree stretches its luxurious limbs out over the crossroads.
Our best bet right now is to head over to the castle.
Two guards take their stance in front of the castle doors. They look quite fierce and have the stiff, blank expression of soldiers on formal duty.
I'm sure we'll be able to get in just fine.
No strangers may enter the castle of the crown.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
The Isle of the Crown? But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Then Princess Cosima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
Excuse me, guardsmen, guard dogs. I've been traveling for months to see Princess Cosima. I would like an audience, please.
I'm sorry, but the princess is not receiving visitors, particularly not strangers.
So they're not letting us in. So it's most likely wise that we show them that we are of some official capacity. Or, well, of official, lineage. So we shall show them the insignia ring.
Alexander decides to show his royal insignia ring to the Castle of the Crown guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible calling card he can think of.
Good day. I'm Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm an acquaintance of Princess Cassima. If you could just inform her that I'm here, please.
So everyone says. Let me just look at that ring.
What does it say, Gruff?
Kingdom of Daventry, Prince Alexander. Wait here while I go see what Captain Saladin thinks of this.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Vizier Alhazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please follow me. Lord Alhazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander of Daventry.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordak.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordak's castle. Cassima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Cassima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Cassima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Cassima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Cassima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Cassima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
Take a note of the eyes in the back. It will become important later.
You have had your hearing with Vizier Alhazred. I trust you will respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding. Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Alright, so Obviously, we're not going to get far. However, she said, "Oh, Alexander," in the magic mirror, so it's clear that something isn't right here, but there's not much that we can do about it, and we won't return to this place until quite a bit later. Anyways, there's not much else to do here, so we shall just head over into the town.
Alexander is standing on a sunny village street. There are open shops to his right, a hard-packed path beneath his feet, and palm trees waving over his head. To the north, a key-shaped arch leads to another part of the village. An old beggar is peddling his wares in the village. He offers a variety of lamps, all neatly lined up on a long pole.
Good day, peddler.
Good day, sir. If you would like to get one of my fine new lamps, I'll need an old lamp in trade.
Isn't it a rather bad business? Taking old lamps and giving new lamps in exchange?
Well, there's always a chance that I'll find a genie. If I had a genie, I'd be richer than a king. Besides, there's always a roaring business in antique luminaries.
Apologies if I don't talk a lot. There's a lot of dialogue in this game. Anyways, first off, I want to head into the bookshop here.
The sign above the door says Ali's Books.
And we shall obviously go into Ali's Books.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Take a note of the eyes.
Good day, sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands: the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3? Does no one know for certain?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days. And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly, merchant, for all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
How fare you, merchant?
Business could be better. Too many people are losing interest in reading these days. It is a sign of the times.
How fare...
Business could...
Alright. There's a few things to do here.
An antique leather-bound book is displayed on a little stand on the counter. On the elaborate cover is the title, Ye Useful Book of Magic Spells.
Magic spells. Well, Alexander knows a fair bit about magic, so that could be rather useful to us.
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spell book for it.
Alright.
How fare...
Well, I would be better if I could only finish my manuscript. I am a budding novelist, you know.
Alright. So, I do believe that's all he'll say.
Volumes of poetry are on display on this bookshelf.
Go through and actually read some of
Thinking
this.
of Cosima, Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast. Not bad. And another. Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there. Yikes. And another. What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you? What nameless thing has captured me and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply. Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you.
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returns the love poem book to the shelf.
Seems like a paper has fallen. Let's grab it.
Alexander picks up the fallen page. It's the love poem he particularly liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
These shelves hold a collection of oddly titled guidebooks. Alexander notices such books as How to Become King with Little or No Rupees Down, Finding the Right Girl with the Right Dowry, and Why Good Princesses Like Bad Wizards.
I don't think we can get anything off the shelf.
Alexander is not interested in those self-help books.
Yeah. And we can also look at this book
Alexander
in the middle
rests
here.
his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages. Well, that was refreshing.
And I guess we don't get to read any of it.
A collection of children's books fill those shelves. Alexander is a little old for those children's books.
And one final thing.
There's
Here.
a small table near the door that bears a sign, The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence, but that was crossed out and replaced with 5 pence, then 1 pence, then free. The sign currently reads, "Take one, please." Only one book remains on the table. It looks like the bookshop owner really wants to get rid of that book.
Well, if he wants us to take it, then we finally shall.
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
Man, I don't know why he would get rid of the book, though.
Alexander is
Seems
carrying
odd.
the book from the bargain table in the bookshop.
Let's look in the book.
Alexander opens the bargain book and reads a paragraph at random.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 and an eighth bottles of wild beast lard.
Well,
Phew, what an incredibly boring book. No wonder the bookshop owner wanted to get rid of it so badly.
interesting. See if
How
he...
fair you...
Business could be...
I could... Fuck. I don't know if he said it during that dialogue, but I think he said something about, the guy in the pier, which, we're supposed to go to next. I don't know if he said it during that. I'm just a bit brain dead, don't worry.
The house is made of stucco in an architectural style native to the island. It is apparently quite old since climbing vines embrace its exterior. There's a young girl in the yard. The girl is dressed in a long, plain orange robe with a thick headdress. From the appearance of her clothes and from a skittish, fearful look about her, Alexander gets the strong impression that she is a servant, or even worse, a slave. The serving girl appears to be stealing a quiet moment tending the rose bushes. The girl is too far away to hold a...
You lazy thing! Get back to work and stay away from those roses! I've told you 1,000,000 times, those flowers are too sweet for the likes of you! You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning! And get your veil back on! No one wants to look at your face!
Yes, stepmother.
That won't come into play for a while, once again.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
That seems like a good offer.
A young boy is happily swimming in the sea off the docks.
Take a note of the eye.
Considering the poor condition of the shore, it looks like the easiest way to get into the water is just to jump off the pier. The powerful currents grab Alexander. Struggle as he might, he feels himself being pulled out to sea.
Not a very good swimmer, are you?
Help me!
Sorry, I think not.
So yeah, that
As
kid
his head
just,
submerges for the third time, Alexander finds himself pondering the wisdom of going out on a limb for a stranger.
So yeah, that kid just, fucked us. How fun.
Tickets up.
And no, that guy will not finish his line.
Alexander couldn't handle those currents. That boy must be an unbelievably strong swimmer.
So yeah, that's, our first stuff. And, yeah, so basically, as you saw, at the, during the cutscene in the castle, is, that This is going to be this genie that will follow us throughout the game, who has the Shimmering Eye, and he will continually get us to kill ourselves. So, obviously,
Come on, jump in.
we
A
won't do
little
that.
water won't hurt you.
Fuck you. And I'm pretty sure that's
worn
voiced by
wooden
Josh
vessel
Mandel.
has been dry docked on a jetty. The boat is in sad shape. A hole in the hull and the condition of its boards make it obvious that the vessel is no longer seaworthy.
But there might be something good inside. Fuck off. Also, as I said, that guy, the genie, is voiced by Josh Mandel, who also voices King Graham. So, yeah.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared.
I
Oh,
think
well,
nothing of
perhaps
it.
he just dove under the water.
Yeah, what do you want?
Alexander.
Excuse me. My name is Alexander. The owner of the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment.
You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside. What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Interesting.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Cosima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Cosima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen, but the Queen had no answer.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Tell me more about Princess Cosima.
Ah, such a beautiful child, and so pure of heart. Why, a contrary thought has never crossed her mind. Her mother was the same. The king and queen, they served the islands, not the other way around, always thinking about the people. Ah, they are sorely missed.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot. A bit crazy, mind you. Gotta have a good sense of humor to enjoy a tour there.
What else can you...
The Isle of the Beast is pretty, but unfortunately, you can't get very far onto the island.
What else can...
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
What else can you tell...
The Castle of the Crown sure is a beauty. She's the finest palace ever built, I'll warrant.
What...
Some say that the land of the Green Isles is near the edge of the world, and that the deadly currents are a result of a magnetism that sucks life from this world to the next. Of course, that's just silly talk.
What else?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lot.
Alright, and that's all I'll have to say. However, there's one more thing right here.
A table is positioned in front of two plain wooden chairs. The table consists of a board placed over a small barrel. There's a rabbit's foot on the table.
And, you know, we should probably ask about that.
The rabbit's foot is long past even...
Well.
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
Alright, nothing else to say, so we'll leave.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
Alright, and with that, we can... we'll head back to town, and then we'll finish out the part, because we've been going on for 40 fucking minutes. Yeah, that's just how much dialogue is in this game. It's a lot. So, yeah. Started out, and, you know, we did a few things. We don't have that much, but, you know. Starting shit. So, yeah, that will be it for right now, and I will see you sometime later. Bye.